Welcome, one and all, to Concord, North Carolina. Even though this track was built back in 1960, drivers still strive to conquer this track, this mile-and-a-half quad oval. Fans flock for one of the largest sporting facilities in the southeast U.S. And if Daytona is the pinnacle of NASCAR racing, then Charlotte Motor Speedway has to be just a bumper behind. Welcome, everyone, to race number 9 of the Elite Entertainment Cup Series, powered by Butt Kicker. We're live from Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Charlotte 210. I'm Hunter Sleppy, and joining me in the booth, as always, is executive producer Harold Darner. How's it going, Harold?
Pretty good, but you may be hearing my dog's barking. She's just not wanting to be quiet tonight. She says no, refuses, so...
Yeah, Jake knows a thing or two about dogs that won't stop barking. He's got quite a few of them that just will not stop yapping. But yeah, glad to be back. Had an off week for Veterans Day or Memorial Weekend. Not Veterans Day.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're off.
Way off. Yeah,
we'd be like done with racing by a lot. It would be November and. I would have missed my cruise and all this other stuff, so, you know. Summer's just starting, it's not over.
It is indeed just starting. It is June. The last time we were racing, we were at Gateway, and then we had the off week, and kind of a little reversal from the real-life Cup side of things. We had the Coke 600 a couple weeks back, and boy, if the Coke 600 was that intense for real life racing, imagine what it's going to be for tonight's racing. Now, we're not going to do 600 miles, obviously. We're going to do 210, so it's going to be 140 laps. But if we're going to see something like we saw with the Coke 600, we're in for quite a treat.
It's always a different track here. We're already under, was it late sky 7:30, so we'll go to darkness. The track will cool off, and the lights will come on, and the track will get stickier for these guys.
Yeah, and I mean, this Cup race, the Coke 600, it quite literally had everything. It had good, hard side-by-side racing. You had drivers using the top, the middle, the bottom. We saw big wrecks. We even saw a flip on the front stretch. Chris Buescher defied all odds and flipped going, I don't know, 70 miles an hour down in the grass or something. So if it can happen in real life, imagine what it could happen in iRacing. And last season, we saw trucks flying in the tunnel turn at Pocono, and we're still waiting on that one truck to get back and land. So really looking forward to tonight's race.
Wondering, though, you know, with what happened with Buescher's car, will they take out the Roval Turtles on non-Roval weekends? Because that's what started that.
I don't think it had anything to do with the turtle. It was just the contact from Buescher's car when he made it with Suarez.
When his car got sideways, it came across where that cut is before the Legends track, and then went to the grass.
It dug into the AstroTurf.
Okay.
That tire was coming apart, and when it came off, that rotor dug into the artificial turf, and that's what sent it over. But
okay. He did send all my buddies in Roush that he was fine. It's just a little scare being upside down for a while.
Yeah, that was was a little too long seeing that 17 upside down. But you know, they'll learn from that and learn from that. And real quick, we'll take a look at our playoff picture. So Jake Nichols, Ryan Hartz, Brad Slar, Ed Robertson, they have all locked themselves in with a win earlier in the season. James Scioli is the highest in points without a win, so 31 points to the cut line. And then we got Cameron Hearn, Weishart, Tyler Nichols, Tom DeLeo, Ryan Swan over there in 10th. Then we got Garrett Heath and Nick Johnston holding the last two spots with Dwayne Culberson 13 points out. Randy Bechtel 18 points out. Balancino and Paul Irvin, those guys are the first four out. I'm going to go ahead and say it. The driver that's on the outside looking in, I'm looking for Paul Irvin. I feel like he's going to have a solid run, and he might have a chance to lock himself in. He's doing really good in the Truck Series, and I think he can carry that momentum into the Cup Series.
I'm thinking Alan Balancino will figure it out.
It's also a good pick. He was up there in the top 10 at Gateway just last week, and we'll take a look at a highlight video in just a moment. We're also going to look at the team championship standings, so we'll look at where the teams line up. And it's been Solar Flare Racing for a good portion of the season at 581, but Jacob Bell Racing not too far behind, 542. David Weishart Racing sitting at 530. Infinite at 523. Really close all throughout the board here. Physicus, Elite Entertainment, Transcendent, and Elwood Designs, the bottom four. It's really close. Like Solar Flare Racing, with how dominant they've been, and Jake Nichols carrying that team. I gotta say, Jacob Bell Racing could be they could be on a hot streak here in a minute, because they've got some pretty solid drivers with Ryan Swan and Jordan Martin, and Ryan Hart's already locked into the playoffs.
Yeah, Elwood Designs, that's a shock to me for being down in the bottom with how dominant they were last season. Just their drivers just been in a bunch of bad luck. You know, Brad Slaughter and I'm not thinking here, Eric Wineland. You know, just on a bad streak here to getting hit and knocked out of competition.
Yeah, well, those are the standings that are prior to tonight's race, so they're obviously going to change. And we saw a lot of changes happen last week at Gateway, with some drivers getting into it, some good hard racing, and then some wrecks as well. And here's a little recap of what you missed from last week's race. We'll have Cameron Hearn and Jake Nichols on the front row leading the field to the green flag, and we're underway from Gateway.
See multiple grooves here getting in, and
whoa, we got a wreck right in the back.
That was the 12 car of Rafe Slate.
A massive wreck on the front stretch here as they come across the stripe to complete the first lap. Caution's already out. The 45 got loose into the 12 of Rafe Slate, and absolutely nowhere to go. Just carnage on the front stretch. This collected a bunch of them. Here comes the 7 of James Kiley down to the bottom. He's one of the drivers with a fresh set of tires, and Brad Slaughter still trying to use the top to get the run. Now here comes the 91 of Jake Nichols, going to give a little run for the 88 of Brad Slaughter. Oh, that got close there in turn 4. Brad Slaughter nearly getting into the wall. Kiley's going to come across the stripe and lead that lap. Here comes Nick Johnston down to the bottom, moving for second.
He's going to get that. He's got that. He's a short speed, very good.
Oh, contact! For the Slaughter in the wall. Oh, we got Cameron Hearn spinning around.
Caution is out.
The fourth caution of the race falling on lap 31. And that all started when the 28 of Johnston came up in front of Brad Slaughter, and it set off a chain of events. Now the field single filing up a little further towards the back. We see some side-by-side action. Oh, and now we see sideways Jordan Barton in the 11, spinning down the backstretch. Yeah, no caution out. They are out of the racetrack. Not deemed a caution from iRacing, so we're still green. Oh, it is tight side-by-side action for the lead. Hearn also looking for that fifth spot from Johnston, but up front, the 70 of Balancino going to try and slide it down on the bottom. Here comes the 91 of Jake Nichols. Balancino completes the pass. The battle now moves on to second. Oh, a hard wreck into the wall. It's Wilson and Slaughter sitting in the middle of the track, coming out, turn 4. The caution is going to come out for the 7th time on lap 69. We're seeing the gap stay the same from 3rd and 4th to 1st and 2nd, even though these guys are still going at it for the lead side by side once again. Going to be tight here through turn 4. Hearn trying to get the edge from Johnston as they head into turn 1. Oh, close to making contact right there. Here comes the 28. They're going to make contact. Contact made between Johnston and Hearn. That's going to allow the 28 to move into the lead. Hearn going to drop down to second.
Hearn's going to remember that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know he's going to remember that. Diamond it back down on the bottom, and he couldn't do that last time by, and he couldn't do that this time by. Oh, he might try it. No. He'll stay tucked in line.
Got that black car. That's what he's concerned about.
Oh, he's going to try and use him as a pick. Oh, it's going to be tight. Larch is going to go as close to the wall as he can to stay out of the leader's way. Oh, and here comes the move from Johnson. He's going to send it down in. Oh, slide up. Couldn't quite do it. They were so close to making contact. Piece of paper in between those two. That's how close it was. Waiting to see the 7 make a mistake, kind of like what we saw there. He bobbled a little bit in turn 4. It's going to allow the 28 of Johnston to look down low going into turn 1.
Nichols now within...
Oh, we locked it. Whoa.
Smoke coming off the 28's front tires.
Going to give him the top, and he's going to apply the bumper whenever he's going to try and cut down. It looks like that's the same thing happening behind for third.
Nichols on the inside has position.
Yep, this could be the battle for the win here. Nichols on the bottom, Skylerly on the outside, still trying to keep a run going.
Good car control.
Oh, and the back out.
Slide.
Jake Nichols to the lead with 10 to go from Gateway. Oh, contact made in the back for third. Johnston up the track. Hearn into third. There might not have even been contact, but it looked like that the two made contact. Johnston was using his bumper to block Cameron Hearn the last couple of laps.
Could that be a return from what happened earlier?
Oh, they're still up the track. It might be. They're dead to dead, even for third. Oh, yep. Yep. Oh, Cameron Hearn's going to give the bumper to Johnston. He's just going to send him into the wall.
And Cameron's like, I'm not having that. He's like, you worked me up earlier, and that's it. Not going to let you do it to me again.
And it just completely changed things. And boy, we have seen quite the battles here, and it looks like we're going to see another thrilling victory for the 91 of Jake Nichols. He's going to come around 3 and 4 for the final time. He's going to pick up his 4th win on the season in the Cup Series in 8 races. Bring it out. Checkered flag in the air. Jake Nichols wins at Gateway. Scioli second and Hearn third. Coming across the stripe, Johnston's going to hold on to 4th. Weishart P5 and Alan Valancino right there on the bumper at the very end. He had one more lap. He could have gotten a top 5 finish. And that was the recap of what you might have missed from last week's race at Gateway. Do apologize for it being a little longer than usual, but there was just so much action going on that couldn't leave it out. Had to show the people what was exciting. Had solid racing, some tempers flaring, but in the end, Jake Nichols picked up win number 4, and he's looking to pick up win number 5 here tonight. And now we got qualifying, less than 7 minutes remaining. And Harold, I think you've already made your pick in the chat.
Yeah, I'm looking for Alan Ballacino to rally today. This is one of those older tracks that have been around the server for such a long time. One of those veteran drivers, this is something that he should be able to show his colors.
Indeed, and I already made my pick. If you listen to the first episode of Area Happy Hour, the new podcast that me and Jacob Bell are a part of, and we're going to have some guests in the upcoming episodes, but we had our first episode a few days ago, and we made our picks back then of who we think is going to win the Cup race. So Jake is going with Cameron Hearn, and I'm going with James Scioli. So I already put my points on David Weishart Racing, which is the team that James Scioli is a part of, and Garrett Grant, Chris Fine, and David Weishart. You have went with Alan Balancino, part of Zika's Motorsports, with Mark Patterson, Matthew Robinson, and Dom DeLeo there. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on our picks, and it'll be interesting to keep an eye on Jake Nichols. He has been one of the fastest drivers of the season in the Cup Series. We mentioned it. Although he is listed as a rookie in
area, he's not a rookie.
With a 7,400 I rating. He's won half the Cup races this year, literally half the Cup races. This is race number 9, and he's won 4 of 8 so far. Oh, he got on the wall there, though, so if he wants to win, he's going to have to come from deep in the field to do that. He's only 13th quickest on his opening lap and only lap that will count. And there's 15 drivers that have qualified. Now this is a driver that had quite the race last time by at Gateway. Rafe Slate, he was in that lap 1 crash and he rallied through to get top 10 finish.
Yeah. I noticed in there, you can't think that Elwood is doing a Pete Rose because he's actually betting against his team.
No, can't do that.
So fitting I picked the Cincinnati guy, right? Yeah.
The contest is open. And as always in the Cup Series, it is which team will win tonight's Cup. So you can type !bet and then the following options for the teams: Solar, Transcendent, Infinite, Physicus, Elwood, JBR, DWR, Elite, and if you wanted to select someone that's not on a team, you would put non-team. You see Rafe Slate working his way through, and that's actually David Weishart now. So David Weishart, if you wanted to pick him, you can type in !bet, DWR, and however many channel points from 5 to 100. So we're looking through here, and looks like Travis Beckner has put 100 channel points on Solar Flare Racing, and Jake has put 67 on Elite Entertainment for the 67 of Cameron Hearn. Harold put 100 on Physicus. I put 50 on DWR. And then Elwood put 100 for Solar Flare. Pretty sure.
They're
watching, if he got the bet in.
Watching David Weishart's tachometer, and it's like it's gone to red on the straightaways. So, and he's in 5th gear, so that might be something to watch out for tonight.
Well, it might be. We got him 3rd quickest, and teammate Garrett Grant is up there as well in the 2nd spot. So Harold, your pick to win. Balancino currently on the pole with 2:30 remaining in qualifying.
See out there, you look at the RPMs on Jacob Bell as he entered in 1. It was redlining.
And he got on the wall right there.
Yeah. Let's say Cameron Hearn. He's another good one to watch. But yeah, I'm concerned about them redlining going into the corners. A lot of strain in that engine, and the engines can let go in iRacing.
Yeah, we just saw it there with Cameron Hearn.
Well, Cameron Hearn was doing something with some gearing. It was kind of strange.
I was gonna say that he's not backing out. He's just
trying to heat that. He's trying to heat that right rear tire. That's his thing. He likes to get that right rear heated up so that he says it helps him get that fast lap in. So let's see how he does as he's going into his first lap here, or he's going for his big lap, I guess. You saw how it went red
there. Went way red, and they showed video on Twitter. This kind of relates to it, of a late model running around North Wilkesboro, and those things are maxing out towards the end of the straightaways, kind of like what we're seeing with the next gen cars here as they're going through turn 1, like they're flatlining out with the RPM. Cameron Hearn puts the 3rd quickest, so the 67 car, P3, and that is pick from the Jacob Bell. Who knows? Maybe we'll have Cameron Hearn on the Happy Hour podcast, or we could have the 7 of Skyoli on our podcast. Oh, you never know. But he's 15th quickest. Chris Seidenfeiden goes slot 10th for the moment. 40 seconds left in qualifying. Unless someone goes out there and puts a whale of a lap, it's going to be Balancino on the pole by 3 1/1000ths over Garrett Grant.
Interesting to see Grant up there for a hot time, though, isn't it? Garrett's
I've heard from around the garage area that Garrett Grant is one to watch out for on these 1.5 miles.
But he tends to be pretty good on the long run on most of the tracks that we've seen him at this year. But we will tell. We will see.
Yep, and that's going to do it for qualifying. So it looks like 4 drivers didn't go out and put down a lap, so they're going to be starting from the back. Meanwhile, we'll get you your starting grid. And on the front row, it's going to be Alan Balancino on the pole with Garrett Grant on the outside. In row 2, going to be Cameron Hearn and David Weishart. Row 3, Jordan Martin and Rafe Slate. Row 4, Nick Johnston and Garrett Heath. And row 5, the 00 car of Will Davis. And the 45 of Chris Seidenfein.
All right, I got Daniel Miglin and Paul Irvin in row 6. Row 7 is Brad Slaughter Jr. and Dwayne Culberson. James Scioli in the butt kicker 7 inside of 8, and outside of him is Shane Wolf. Dominic DeLeon Fazekas is in that 22 ride in the 17th spot. Inside of 9, outside of him is Ed Robertson. Perkins and Larch will finish pull out in row 10.
And then in row 11, we got Jake Nichols. Going to start from deep in the field after that mishap in qualifying. Going to share the row with Forrest Smith to his outside. Jacob Bell in row 12 and Brian Wasserman with him. And then row 13 and row 14, these drivers did not put down a time in qualifying. Tyler Nichols, Brian Dixon, Ryan Swan, and Mark Patterson. And that is your 28-car field for tonight. Got 140 laps slated. Looking at the fuel window to be about, I'd say 55 to 60 laps, somewhere in that range. Got that number from the drivers in the garage area, so not sure if it'll go above that or way below that, but we're ready to see these cars fire off and go for a pace lap. Right on cue. Right on cue, just like I timed it. Let's go ahead and take a look at our track facts, presented by Lottie'sTravelWorld.com. It's going to start out mostly cloudy. The sun's going to set, so this race will finish under the lights. Air temp 78, track temp 80, and that's only going to go down as soon as that sun sets. 34% humidity and winds from the southwest at 9 miles an hour. And now 10. It changes.
Unlike when we first started doing this.
Yeah, when we did the late model series, it always the winds from the west
never
at
changed.
2 miles an hour.
Never changed.
Well, we already mentioned about Jake Nichols being the car to beat. He started from deep in the field. He led only about 23 laps from Gateway last week, and James Scarlett once again led the most laps in the race, but could not come home with the victory. So we'll see if the 91 could come up, or the 7 could come up, or if we can have a new winner like Balancino or Garrett Grant. So the pace car is going to come off turn 4, make the hard left turn on the pit road. Alan Balancino, Garrett Grant on the front row, leading the field to the green flag here. And we're underway from Charlotte Motor Speedway.
David Weishart challenging on the high side early.
I feel like the later we get into the race, the more you're going to see cars on the outside lane. As they come off turn 4, and Balancino is going to lead lap number 1 with the 33 of Weishart on his bump. Going to ride in the studio setup with David Weishart. See just in front, Balancino keeping that car on the blue and white apron. Trying to get as low as you can. And look who just ran the fastest lap of the race, that number 33 of Weishart. He's trying to find a way to the lead early. Meanwhile, Cameron Hearn just slapped the wall coming out of turn 4. Just about to say, Hearn was trying to get that outside lane rolling, but he got it into the wall just then. Out of turn 4, he's going to fall back to around 9th and actually He's going to stay around 8th with Nick Johnston. Those two have had quite the run in from the previous
Interesting
race
how
at Gateway.
Weishart keeps putting up the fastest time, but I don't see much difference between him and Balacino. So it must be by like mere seconds. Now he goes for the attack of the inside line here.
Yep, side by side for the lead, heading into turn 1. Weishart again with the fastest lap for the race, and this time he'll take the lead.
I was going to say, Weishart, though, what does this cost him for the long run strategy? 5 laps as hard racing as he was going around this racetrack.
Later on.
The track's known for killing tires.
Yep, and later on we will see the comers and goers of the field. So we'll keep a close eye on that. He's putting constant fastest laps of the race. The last 4 laps, he's put down the fastest laps.
Well, he's in control of his own, getting into control of his own destiny up front. Just hopefully he's not pushing it too hard and then gets eat up later. But way to stay out of trouble, stay in the lead.
Yeah, meanwhile, back in third, there's like a train going on behind Garrett Grant. Everybody's single file. Got someone trying to poke out of the line there.
It's a 23 of Garrett Heath.
Garrett Heath. Yep, new paint scheme for the number 23. Not used to seeing him in that sort of scheme. Used to seeing him in the traditional blue, and that was close contact
Jake
back
Nichols
there.
back there, no?
Yep, Jake Nichols and Brad Slaughter sitting there in 13th. And actually, that was Dwayne Culberson.
Ah.
Yeah, I was saying that last time by there's Jake Nichols right behind there. These two are teammates, Culberson and
Culberson's more
Jake
blue
Nichols.
than Nichols. Nichols is purple. But they're similar schemes. That's why it looked to me like, hey, wait a minute, that might be Nichols back there.
Yep, Culberson, Jake Nichols, and Tyler Nichols, you saw in the recap vid, posed for a team photo there on the front stretch after the win from Jake last week at Gateway. And there's Tyler Nichols. He was one of the drivers that did not put down a lap for qualifying, so he's hanging in the back for now, and hanging up front in the lead is Weishart. He's got about a half-second gap between himself and Alan Balacino.
And Balacino about a half a second over Grant.
Yep, meanwhile, in the back towards the top 10, we got Chris Scienfine looking low on Garrett Heath for the 6th position.
A little bit of contact.
Yeah. Close quarters racing right there. And right behind Scienfine, we got Nick Johnston, Paul Irvin, and Will Davis for the top 10. Now we'll see the 48 try to look low. I gotta say, I've been really impressed with Paul Irvin in the truck series, and we'll be seeing him tomorrow night from the same racetrack here on the Area Racing Twitch channel. But he might carry that momentum into the Cup race, and a little further back, looking to carry that same momentum. The last 2 races, that's Devin and James Scioli. He's led the most laps, but he hasn't been able to close the deal and get the W. I feel like tonight might be the night, but he's sitting there back in the look around the 14th position.
And he's got was that Dwayne Culberson directly behind him. Not too far behind them is Jake Nichols making his way up.
Yep, slowly but surely, that 91 making his way up to the front. There's the 49 of Jay Perkins, also sporting a similar paint scheme to the 23 of Garrett Heath. So a little bit of a switch up there for the Infinite cars. And there is Cameron Hearn just in front of these guys as he's fallen outside the top 10 and trying to work his way back inside. He's currently sitting in the 11th spot. Oh, and contact nearly there between Scienfine and Johnston. So you have some hard, close racing there for the 7th spot. Johnston on the inside, Scienfine on the outside, and moving a little further up front, Rafe Slate. Looking for that 3rd spot from Garrett Grant. He's all over the bumper. There's Will Davis and Paul Irvin battling for the 9th spot with Cameron Hearn in the rear view mirror, looking to pounce at any given moment.
See
Well,
so many battles
battling
going.
just in front. Yeah.
So many battles going on. I'm jumping from each one. It's like I'm looking at the time he's scoring, and there are a lot of them.
Yep, and here's one of them with Cameron Hearn trying to get around Paul Irvin for the 10th spot. Brad Slaughter going to get the momentum push to the 48 and actually move himself up to 11th. So there's the 31 of James Shanewolf running in the 16th spot. Running right behind the 4 of Daniel Miglin. And there's the 7 of Scioli looking underneath the 67 of Hearn. And a little further back, got Jay Perkins on the outside of Michael Larch. This is the battle for the 20th spot. Michael Larch looking for a rebound after Gateway. Was in quite a bit of cautions and looking to get away from that and to put down a solid run here tonight at Charlotte.
Like Dominic DeLeo putting some pressure on James Scioli in the corner here.
Yep, haven't talked too much about Dom DeLeo this year, and he's looking to put together some solid runs as we get closer and closer towards the playoffs. As these guys, they have tonight, Coda, Nashville, and Talladega before the playoffs start, and drivers like Dom DeLeo needing a win to get in. Further up front of those guys, Brad Slark completing the pass on Paul Irvin for 10th, and now we see a pass right here, or an attempt from Chris Steinfeiden, trying to get around Jordan Martin there for that top 5 spot. In the back, Scioli looking underneath the 48 of Paul Irvin for 11th, but Jordan Martin is now leading the train of cars behind him. There it is, still side by side in the back. Got Paul Irvin, Scioli. Ooh, that's Daniel Miglin giving the 48 a little bit of a shove there through the turn. Dom DeLeo, James Shanewolf all in this 5-car pack right here. Oh, contact made.
Wow.
Between
nice
Scioli
save
and
with
Paul
Scioli,
Irvin.
though.
Yep, Scioli going to back off and settle in. It's going to drop him down to 15th. Right behind him is that purple 91 of Jake Nichols.
And Paul Irvin's getting awful skatey off of 2. About the 3rd time I've seen that car get that sideways angle to it.
Yeah, we're starting to get deeper and deeper into the run. Going to be 20 laps gone from the start of the race, or from the drop of the green flag, should say. So we're going to start seeing these guys get a little more loose as the tire wear kicks in.
Like gone to single file through the first 6 cars.
Yeah, they're still nose and tail, but kind of just riding things out for the moment. Dom DeLeo going to get around the 48 of Irvin.
Well, to correct that, say to the 10th car, which is number 88 of Brad Slaughter.
Yeah, that's Daniel Miglin in the back trying to get that outside lane rolling, and he gets it into the wall. Going to allow Jake Nichols to pull down low and attempt the pass on the number 4.
Nichols showing how to hold that bottom line all the way around the corner on the apron. This is that left front tire and holds it all the way down there, all the way through the corner.
Yep, and he completes the pass on Paul Irvin. Irvin thinking about a crossover, going to settle in line. Meanwhile, Brad Slaughter looking to hang on to the top 10 spot from Dom DeLeo as we look back for Cameron Hearn running in the 17th spot. Seen quite a few cars do that, clip through the artificial turf there on the front stretch.
Looks like Cameron Hearn has found the outside retaining wall with the right side of his Skull Bandit.
Yeah, he hit the wall a little bit earlier coming out of turn 4, and it's what dropped him outside the top 10. You see Gary Lewis has checked in the chat. Gary Lewis, a part of Team Transcendent with Forrest Smith, Drew Trader, and Eli Green. Haven't seen Eli Green in a while. He was actually locked in from that win at Bristol Dirt, but sometimes life gets in the way, and we see there in the chat work keeping Gary Lewis out of this. So Eli Green was initially locked in, but he's just life gets in the way sometimes, and can't find time for this anymore, which is understandable, obviously. So his playoff spot been given up, and that's why we saw there in the pre-race Brad Slaughter locked in, because he wasn't inside the top 20 in points until last week at Gateway. That finish that he had locked himself into the top 20, which then locks himself into the playoffs. So still only 4 drivers that we know for certain are grabbing for a championship. Boy, Jordan Martin continuing to lead this train. Gotta wonder when someone's gonna make a move. I mean, whether it's Simon Fine or Garrett Heath, someone's got to drop out of line there unless they're content with running like this, because they've got a train from 5th on back to I'd say 13th spot.
We said how many laps are we saying on the fuel?
The fuel run I got, oddly enough, from the car currently leading the train, 55 to 60 laps. So fuel stats were from none other than Jordan Martin, who's leading this train, as we got some side-by-side action going on in the back. Dom DeLeo and Will Davis looking to swap the 9th and 10th spots on the track. And here comes that 91 of Jake Nichols. The 91 looking to give the momentum push. Ooh, might give it to the outside here. No, he's gonna drop it down low.
Just taking whatever he can get at this point, trying to get to the front of the field. But a lot of racing to go, about halfway through a fuel run, we were just saying. Wonder if some of these guys are going to try to make the distance to 70 if it's at all possible. Somebody's trying.
Oh, yeah.
This and Texas were my nemesis in NASCAR 2003, back when you could actually detonate a tire. And have lost the right front tire more than once on this racetrack coming out of turn 4. They don't do that now. They just basically make it so the car just dump trucks, just drive straight into the wall. But yeah, they don't detonate anymore like they used to.
And we just saw that time by the 91 of Jake Nichols moving into the top 10. Now he's going to try and look for another position from Will Davis, and we'll be side by side for the 9th spot.
He's taking whatever the guys are giving him, that's for sure. Just patiently working his way methodically through the number of cars. He knows that for this first pit stop, he wants to be in the top group, the top 5 probably, and if I'm thinking in his mind, he's already moved up 11 positions since the green flag fell.
Yep, and as we mentioned before in previous races, he's got the highest I rating in the field, sitting at 7,200. So he knows a thing or two about getting around other cars in the field, especially from starting deep in the field as he did. Well, it looks like the 84 of Forrest Smith has disconnected for the night.
Yep. He was being shown 4 laps down.
Now you see the train starting to break through as Chris Seinfeld and Garrett Heath are side by side for the 6th position. Oh, now they're going to look 3 wide. Garrett Heath going to join the mix, going to try and pass 2 cars in one corner, and he did just that.
Wow, almost 2 by 3.
And now here comes the 91 of Jake Nichols. Slowly creeping his way through the top 10 is that purple number 91 for Solar Flare Racing. Dom DeLeo with an aggressive send down on the bottom, looking to get around James Sheenwolf there for the 11th spot. See if Nichols can pass on the outside. We've seen him work his way through on the bottom, but can we see him do it on the outside? And he's going to have all the momentum in the world from the 00 of Will Davis, and that's going to allow him to complete the pass on Chris Seinfeld. So Jake Nichols up to 8th. Oh, and it looks like we got a car coming down pit road. That's Seinfeld.
Interesting. So looks like he's electing to do this as a 3-stop race, 35, 70, and then 105.
It could be the call here. Seinfeld, we're on lap 36 now, about to be lap 37. It's David Weishart currently leading with a 1-second gap over Alan Balancino. Garrett Grant, Ray Slate, and Jordan Martin rounding out the top 5 as the carousel in the back part of the top 10 continues to rotate. Garrett Heath, P6. Oh, and there we saw Will Davis and Shane Wolf make a little contact with the outside wall. Oh, and now we see the 00 starting to blink a little bit. Got these cars in a pickle here as the 22 and the 00 going to make a little bit of contact through the corners.
No, just talk about side drafting through the corner there.
Got really, really close. Nice. This battle for 9th, 10th, and 11th on the track. Don't talk too much about Will Davis this year, so good to see him having a solid showing inside the top 10, as is Dom DeLeo in the 22. He does not DNF that number 22 of Dom DeLeo. He does not DNF. Sat in for quite a while to repair an engine at Gateway last week. No quit.
No quit.
There we go, back up front with David Weishart, who's led the majority of this race. Balancino hasn't let him go away just yet. It's still been inside that 1-second gap. It's now sitting at around 8 car lengths.
Yeah, but Balancino has been eating in slightly in the last few laps. He was almost a second. Now it's back down to 7.5.
Yeah, as these guys come across the stripe, 40 laps complete, so we got 100 laps to go here in Charlotte for the Charlotte 210 in race number 9 of the Elite Entertainment Cup Series season, powered by Butt Kicker. So there we see the most recent lap times is 31.4 for Weishart and a 31.3 for Balancino.
Slightly faster Balancino, that would be 400ths. But you see that gap ticking down ever so slightly.
Oh yeah, ever so slightly. It's going down just a little bit.
Seidenfaden coming back out be the fastest lap.
Yep, and that's the difference on new tires and old tires. He ran a 30.121 These guys are running 31 second lap times, 31 threes, 31 fours, so a little over 1 second difference between fresh tires and old tires.
I'm just ticking the laps away. Here's Weishart over Balacino. And almost 3 seconds back to Garrett Grant.
Will Davis has dropped outside the top 10. There he is sitting right there in the 12th spot. Not really sure what occurred there. Had quite a few positions being shuffled. So Jake Nichols is now inside the top 5. Garrett Heath P6. They're actually still going at it, but I think Jake Nichols is completing the pass. Jordan Martin has moved down to 7th. Nick Johnston staying in the 8th spot. Actually, for the moment, he is passing Jordan Martin. So Jordan Martin on the move towards the back. It's in there, P8. Dom DeLeo is closing in on this battle. Looking to get his nose involved. And solid run there to the bottom. And now he'll move into 8th. So Jordan Martin down to 9th. Brad Slaughter and James Shanewolf battling it out for 10th. And right behind those two, got the battle for the 12th spot between Will Davis and Michael Larch. Oh, now we got some pit stops. Weishart, Balancino, the top 2 are in. Nick Johnston is down pit road as well, so the lead's going to cycle to Garrett Grant with Rafe Slate right behind.
Now, this is interesting here. These guys are doing two stops at 46.90 and then the finish. So we have some over here. They all come down now. Lots of drivers taking that two. They're going to do a 2-stop race that should leave them with 1 set of tires. Yes, so they have 1 set for a late lap. So Seidenfaden using all his tires up, evening them out to get the most out of each set. These guys electing to keep a set in case of a late race caution. Jake Nichols, we know him. He's going to extend it out as far as he possibly can.
He went about 90 laps at Gateway last
look
week.
at that. He's just going to make a fool out of me. He's like, nope, I got my lap, let him in.
Yep, it's a bonus point for the first lap that you lead. But of course, he's got so many playoff points.
You don't need them.
No. And here we go. Got a new graphic for you. Saw this first off with the CNC Logging Truck Series last time they went with the broadcast.
It's been forever ago.
Yeah, forever. It feels like forever ago, but we've seen this the first time for the CNC Logging Truck Series for Gateway. So now we got this for the rest of the series. So the Elite Entertainment Cup Series and the Live Box Series, we got this most laps led graphic, and there we see the 33 of Weishart leading 40. Balancino with 4. Dom DeLeo with 2. And Jake Nichols with 1. And of course, Dom DeLeo is currently leading at the moment. And it doesn't look like he'll be making a pit stop this lap. So it's going to add 1 more lap led for that number 22. And he needs all the points that he can get.
So Drew's asking me which race there, Drew, the race I produced last night or the race in St. Louis. If you're asking about the Gateway race, I really didn't watch it, unfortunately.
No, and it's the Cup race.
That's Cup race. No, and my favorite driver was home in COVID protocol, so maybe that's the reason why I didn't watch it.
Yeah, so Zane Smith made the start in the 17 for the weekend, and he did a solid job. Stayed out of trouble.
He beat the boss.
Yeah, he did. P17 for that number 17. A solid first start for Zane Smith. Hopefully many more to come in the Cup Series. And the 22 of Tom DeLeo looked a little slow there going through the corner. But I guess that's just a difference in fresh tires and old tires. But he's looking super duper slow. And Tyler Nichols brought the number 79 car down pit road.
So Shane Wolf coming alive here. He's got 52 laps on his tires, catching up to Dominic DeLeo.
And it looks like the 22 is going to come down pit road this time by.
He says he's had enough. He says, I'll give it up. I'm going to get some new rubber.
James Shane Wolf going to stay out and lead a lap.
Yeah, Drew, that was a thing for me at Dover. It was very sun hot in Dover on the Saturday of the Xfinity Series, and Shane Wolf into the wall.
Yep, that's the race leader getting a little bit of that wall over there in turn 2. He might be making a pit stop here this time by. Nope. He said, no, I'm good. I can stay out one more lap.
It was just a scratch. 54 laps being completed now as we're coming off of turn number 2. Shane Wolf leading over Larch Hearn, Paul Urban, and Dwayne Culberson. And those are the drivers who've yet to come down for fresh tires and fuel.
So once the top 5 come in and pit, it'll cycle back to David Weishart leading with Balancino, Simon Fine, Slade, and Garrett Grant. Should be cycled out as the top 5. Gotta wonder how much longer Shane Wolf's gonna stay out.
As long as he can. He's made his bed. He's wanting to go the distance, hoping for NASCAR to help him out.
Approaching right in that fuel window of 55 to 60 laps. There's Brad Slaughter looking to the inside, trying to get his lap back. Running in the 14th spot.
Back the hard way, and it puts Scioli, the first car, lap down.
And Scioli not too far behind. He's bringing Michael Larch with him, and Larch has yet to pit as well, so Michael Larch might be the new race leader here in just a moment, depending on if he pits or if 31 pits or if they both pit. So now we see the 7 to the inside, and James Scioli in the 15th spot will get his lap back.
And puts Will Davis in the lucky dog position in the 00.
It's bringing that number 2 of Larch inch by inch closer to race leader James Shane Wolf. And it looks like Larch, nope, no, they did not come down pit road. Oh, we got loose there through turn 4 in the beginning of the quad oval.
Yeah, they keep coming. Cameron Hearn with them as well. Those top 5 continue to stay out. Very interesting strategy as you see Michael Larch approaching that back deck lid of Mr. Shane Wolf. And the Skull Bandits now in view.
Yep, and now here comes Larch to the inside of James Shane Wolf, and looks like no contest there. Shane Wolf's going to let the 2 go by, and Michael Larch will take over as the new leader of the race and get his bonus point. I gotta say, Harold, I like the longer run strategy that this top 5 has done.
Can they get to 70? Now, if they can get to 70, then this thing could really play out in their favor. But you were saying it's only going to get to about 60, which means we should be seeing it come down very soon.
Yep, and that was the number I got from the number 11, the conductor Jordan Martin. Jordan Martin there sitting in 27th. Might have been a little too long in his pit. Currently 2 laps down along with Mark Patterson.
He was in his pit box maybe for some damage repair. or something of something, because it was in his box. Had nothing to do with coming down more than once. So it was probably something to do with a needed repair on the car.
Boy, these guys are putting down some lap times, running 31 7s, 31 9s, even some 32-second lap times. So tire wear really settling in and starting to become more and more of a factor for these guys that are staying out. And James Shamwolf is about to be under attack for the second spot in just a moment from Cameron Hearn. Hearn has been kind of riding the car out after making contact early on with the outside wall in turn 4, was running inside the top 5, then slowly dropped down the leaderboard outside the top 10, has just kind of been riding around, and now we see the 31 of Shamwolf come down pit road along with Michael Arch as well, so that's going to be a lap led for Cameron Hearn. Ed Robertson going to get his lap back. And Paul Irwin has pitted as well. So only Cameron Hearn and Dwayne Culberson have yet to come down pit road. They're on lap 64 now of their run. I feel like Cameron Hearn might be able to stretch it to lap 70, Harold.
He's pretty good at that strategy, and with the damage on his car, that may be what he's trying to accomplish. You know, he knows he's not going to win by speed because of the damage on the right side. Going to try to see if he can steal one away based on pit strategy.
It could work out. You never know. And staying out and leading that lap, it's going to be a bonus point for him. Got about a 7-second gap to work with 81 of Dwayne Culberson.
That's the clutch, as you see. Watch the RPM gauge on Cameron Hearn's car. We'll do it in car as well as the RPM graphic as well. As you see that car, he switched down to third, and now he's coming in. He says, I ain't got enough.
So he went about 65, 66 laps, and 81 of Dwayne Culberson going to come down pit road as well. So
guess that's like the limit.
Yep, 66 laps might be the limit. And that's going to allow the 33 of David Weishart to cycle back as the leader, but he's got Alan Balancino just 3 car lengths right behind him.
Yeah, Alan Balancino came out of the pits about 6/10 behind him, has slowly been applying pressure to the back of David Weishart and like letting David Weishart work the traffic, and he just kind of follows suit wherever he goes.
Yep, and Rafe Slate, solid 3rd place run. Garrett Grant 4th, and Jake Nichols in the top 5 spot. Oh, and there's Cameron Hearn right there. They're really close to the cars as they're running the bottom. So Cameron Hearn going to come out 1 lap down, but shouldn't be too long before he gets that lap back, although Shane Wolf is sitting as the lucky dog car. So if a caution comes out right now, that 31 car is going to be the free pass car, and Cameron Hearn is going to have to take a wave around. That's the 33 of Weishart continuing to lead. So this last time by, 31.227 for Weishart, 31.287 for Balancino, and James Shamwolf, 30.841. So almost a half-second difference in the lap times between those 3 cars. Shamwolf has fresher tires. Almost a 20-lap difference on the tires, and now we see the 31 starting to work his way towards the leader. Going to pass Balancino, and Now the next car he passes, he'll be back on the lead lap. As David Weishart comes across the stripe, we are now officially halfway through tonight's Charlotte 210, and we'll go ahead and take a look at our top 10 rundown presented by Swift Lifestyles. Fans, be sure to visit our sponsor, Swift Lifestyles, for clean supplements that can help improve your focus and gaming. You can use the discount code on your screen, Area iRacing, AREA iRacing, for 15% off any order. We would like to give a big thanks to Swift Lifestyles for their continuous support of Area. And so David Weishart has retaken the lead through the cycle of pit stops. He's led the most laps so far, currently at 46, and that 33 car is looking strong in the long runs, but he's got company close behind him. 6 car lengths back is the 70 of Alan Balancino, as we see the lap car of Cameron Herr work his way around him. He's also got a pretty fast car, and he's Harold's pick, so got to keep an eye out for him. Had a solid run last week at Gateway, and he's continuing with this number 70 Eat Sleep Race Machine for Fazekas Motorsports. And Rafe Slate, he wrecked in, he nearly wrecked right there. He just went through the grass. Daniel Miglin got into the wall right next to him. I was just going to say, they're making contact through the turns. So a wild ride here as we're talking about Rafe Slate. Was going to say he wrecked on lap 1 at Gateway. Caution's actually out.
Yeah, I think that's what the caution was, and we'll go back and check it out.
I was going to say, a wild scene there for the 12 of Rafe Slate running in the 3rd spot. So we're going to put a little pause on the rundown here for the moment and take a look at our one-to-go replay and look at what brought out the caution. And you might be right, Harold. It might be between the 12 and the 4. I'm not really sure what was going on here. He went through the grass. The 4 got in the wall. And this kind of carries over in the turn 2. Contact there, and the 4 car is in the wall. We got to look and see where he is, and it looks like he clipped. That's not Garrett Grant. That is. Oh no, that is Garrett Grant.
So 4 will go into the wall and then collect Garrett Grant.
Yup, right down into the 5 of Garrett Grant. He keeps that car straight. I almost thought it wasn't him because he was still going on the leaderboard. He's still listed as 5th, but it was just a quick spin. And the 5 is back going, but he's got a good bit of damage now. This is from the in-car of Garrett Grant, seeing all the chaos happening in front of him. We didn't even mention it, but Jake Nichols was right behind as well and was looking to the inside. So very fortunate for him that he didn't get collected in this caution. The only caution of the race that we've seen so far. We went over halfway through caution free, but and we picked up our first yellow.
So that gives the lead to Brian Wasserman, the only car that decided of the lead lap cars to stay out for a lap. And we do have guys further back that are staying out trying to get their way around, like Mark Patterson.
He might be staying out to lead a lap and coming down pit road because he's got 29 laps on his current set of tires, and I feel like he might be making up pit road, but he might have just stayed out to lead a lap, or he might be risking and wanting to restart the race as the leader.
Oh, there you go. He's going to get that lap and come on down, he says.
Yep, not a bad call there from the number 50. So that will put
this is your leader.
Lead.
So the top 3 cars here will get their wave around.
Yep, they'll get the wave around here in just a moment, and like we can go back and do the rundown under caution before we get this thing back rolling. So we got through Weishart, Balancino. Rafe Slate dropped down to the 4th spot after that wild scene of events that took place, and Jake Nichols was right behind that, nearly got collected in that, and he's moved up to third now through the pit stops. This number 91 car has been the car to beat all season long. He's won 4 of the 8 races that we've run so far in the Elite Entertainment Cup Series, and he's looking to add win number 5 to the list. We could get the job done here tonight. Running in the 5th spot is that 23 of Garrett Heath, sporting a new paint scheme there, and his motor blew up last week at Gateway, and he's rebounding solid with a 5th place run currently. And teammate Nick Johnston also had a top 5 run last week at Gateway, but not without some controversy from his run-in with Cameron Hearn, but he's kept the car clean for the most part tonight and is currently running in the 6th spot. So solid run there for Infinite Gaming, and solid run here for Brad Slaughter. He was caught up in a wreck last week at Gateway with Justin Wilson, and now he's running 7th here. Has had solid speed all night long, and so is the 45 of Chris Seinfeld. Washed up the track a little bit, but he's rebounded nicely and back inside the top 10, running P8 at the moment. Also running inside the top 10, haven't talked too much about him this year, Dominic DeLeo. He's led 5 laps tonight, staying out a little bit, getting every point that he can get, and is having a solid run for Fazekas Motorsports. Looking to join his teammate Alan Balancino in the front, and Ed Robertson running in the 10th spot for Elite Entertainment Gaming. And that was your top 10 rundown presented by Swift Lifestyles. And the lights are out on the pace car, and Weishart has chosen the bottom. So he'll have Balancino to his outside, Jake Nichols on the bottom, and Rafe Slate on the outside of Nichols. And now we'll set things up for the Elite Entertainment restart of the race. We would like to thank Elite Entertainment for their support of the Elite Entertainment Cup Series and from all of us here at Area. Be sure to check out Elite Entertainment on Facebook and book them to DJ your next event, as we'll be going green here in just a moment. Pace car going to make the hard left turn onto pit road. Weishart going to restart on the bottom with Balancino on the outside. And the green flag flies once more from Charlotte. Oh, contact! That was Nick Johnston spinning around in the middle of 1 and 2, and the caution's going to come out. Shane Wolf just hit the outside wall hard in turn 2. So we'll take a look at our 1 to go replay. I was just going to say everyone was getting single file there on the bottom. He's looking to come down on Garrett Heath, and it's the teammates. Oh no, they were teammates.
Oh, and Shane
Wolf just got clipped in that.
And somebody a little further up.
I would say we had another car spin a little further up the road, but gosh, that's gotta stink if your teammates in that situation. Was just talking about Infinite Gaming too. They were running 5th and 6th, and then they have this little contact from the restart, and man, that is rough for Nick Johnston. And rough for James Shamwolf too. Don't want to leave him out of this. Just got clipped. Nothing that he could have done.
Now, what this sets up is we've shown that they can go to the fuel the distance here with pit stops here.
Yeah, they can go as much as 66 laps on our fuel run, and we have less than that remaining in the race. So if everyone pits now, they're good to go the rest of the way on fuel, but it's tire wear that's going to be more of a concern. Not sure if Balancino is just coasting on the bottom or if he's going to come down pit road. He might deke someone out. Yep. Knew he wasn't going to pit.
Well, the guys towards
Harold's
the back.
heart almost dropped from that.
No, actually, it's going to be close where they are right now. The front guys might have enough. because that would put them at 65 laps, and we're still got a caution lap left. But the guys that did go down, Paul Irvin, Jordan Martin, Grant, Nichols Johnson, and Nick Johnston, Shane Wolf, a few other drivers down for damage. But the couple of guys, I think Irvin and Martin, that went down, just wanted to make sure they had enough gas to push it. And that was our free pass car that just went by.
Yep, believe that was. I'm looking through trying to figure out. Was that the? No, it might have been Brian Dixon in the.
It was Brian Dixon.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's born in a little different colors there, a little inverted scheme. Car is mostly black with white stripes, and now the car is mostly white with black stripes. Yeah, so it looks like what we're seeing here from Balancino and Slaughter. Don't know if Slaughter's still doing it, but Balancino definitely doing it. Coasting on the bottom, using that apron.
Nick Johnston puts it in the hauler, packing it up and moving on.
Yeah, so Nick Johnston done for the night. He'll join Will Davis and Forrest Smith as drivers that did not complete the distance and retired a little early. Mark Patterson, Dwayne Culberson, Daniel Miglin are all going to move up a couple positions. As the lights are still on top of the pace car, so we'll be going at least one more lap before we get the one to go before the restart. Boy, Balancino running as low as he can, and Weishart looking into the pace car, seeing what driver is behind that machine. Harold, our team picks are running solid. We got DWR, David Weishart Racing, currently leading the way. Solar Flare Racing, I know that's a popular pick amongst the chat, running P2, and your pick in Physique's Motorsports, running P3. Running in the fourth spot is Rafe Slate, who, looking through, he is not listed under a team, so if anyone selected non-team, Rafe Slate having a pretty solid run for that non-team option. And then over there in fifth is Garrett Heath for Infinite Gaming. And it looks like the lights will be going out on the pace car. So we'll be getting the one to go, and David Weishart has control of which lane he will restart the race from. Now, that last time by, he had Jake Nichols behind him. Now he's going to have 91 to his outside. Going to be interesting here with the restarts tonight, because I know in the next update for iRacing they're going to add restart zones into it. Now, Harold, what's that going to look like for the upcoming future?
That should be, if they get it into the system correctly, it won't allow drivers to start coming into acceleration prior to that zone without a penalty. So when the pace car comes off, they'll have to wait like we did at Phoenix with our race controllers checking that out. But official racing should have it also. It'd be interesting to see how that's going to work out. I know in Indy, they do single file, and that's made a big mess. So I'm not sure how this is going to work out for these guys. So I'm on replay, so that's my fault here. We're back live.
I was about to say.
My fault. I screwed that up, and we're back under green flag racing, guys. I'm sorry about that. I clicked to the front drivers, but it didn't click to the live action. So.
Yep, and now we're back with the live action, and if anything, that I heard that update could be implemented as soon as tomorrow, so we could get a first look at it for tomorrow night's CNC Logger Truck Series race.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it'll affect our stuff. we do iRacing flags here in our area, so it may have an effect. Not sure. We'll have to check it out.
Yep, something to look forward to. As we got contact in the back. That's Ryan Swan into the outside wall.
Yeah, pretty
Caution's
heavy.
going to come out once again here. Lap number 8530, yellow of the night.
Yeah, Ryan Swan and Ed Robertson looks like.
We'll take a look at our one to go replay and look to see how this happened. So Ed Robertson there on the outside, Ryan Swan on the bottom. Looks like they're...
Ed definitely gets squirrely off before it comes down into the 1. Maybe a little bit of net code, but the 64, we'll see how that works. So,
now there is definitely a little patch of air there between the 64 and the 1. Man, tough break for Ryan Swan. It's so weird because Ryan Swan really loves the truck series. He loves running in the trucks. But oddly enough, he's had more success this season in the Cup Series than the Truck Series. So he's been putting his attention into that more than trucks, because oddly enough, he's running inside the points, and that's to everyone's surprise. Even Jacob Bell, the owner that he's racing for, it's something that not used to seeing out of Ryan, at least in the Cup Series. But he entered tonight plus 18. Into the playoffs. And with that wreck, I don't know if that will be enough to cause him to retire for the night, but that's a tough blow there for Ryan Swan.
Yeah, that car got vertical, so not sure. And there's that restart zone you were talking about being shown on the wall.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with the next update for iRacing, but that one has been at the top of everyone's list as to, okay, how is this going to play out? What is it going to do? But yeah, like I feel like it'll be like what we saw at Phoenix, like you mentioned. They'll have to wait and then get into the restart zone and then go. But we'll have to wait and see. And like I said, that update could come as soon as might be tonight or Tuesday.
Should be tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, usually when the iRacing drops new content. It was announced for Tuesday morning. So,
yep. And another thing in that content or update for iRacing, the new damage model for the next gen cars. So, won't be tonight, obviously, but the next time we'll be going green, we'll be going green from Area iRacing Twitch channel will be at Coda, and that might be the first time we'll be looking at the new damage model for the next gen cars. I saw the video that iRacing tweeted when they were testing it, and man, they they chucked them up pretty good.
Does your crew chief forget or your front tire changer forgot to get the lug on? Is that we get that too, or?
I'm not sure if we see that from the pit crew, but did see a tire fly in there in that crash test video. So.
They have the tires tethered in the ARCA series, and that's usually where they start a lot of the testing usually gets done. But there, you see when we did the ARCA racing, you see the tire completely off of the lugs, but it would still be kind of held on by a chain, more or less. So,
yeah, kind of like what we saw, as we mentioned, as we're talking about the Coke 600 with Chris Buescher, because that tire never really flew off of the car. It was still on that tether, but when it came off, it dug that left front rotor into the AstroTurf and sent it flipping. It was such a surreal thing to see, but yeah, like you mentioned, the tire in the ARCA car, it's still tethered on, but in that crash test video, if you hit that car hard enough with the tire, it might fly off. But we will see what the future holds, and we'll see what the rest of this race holds as we're nearing 50 laps left in the Charlotte 210. Want to give a big thanks to Jacob Bell for putting together some really cool merch for the drivers over at areairacing.shop. You can check out that website for merchandise to represent your favorite driver. Could be anything from David Weishart, maybe Solar Flare Racing, maybe a little bit of Brad Slaughter, Eric Weiland, Travis Beckner, even the Commentators Collection, the Louisiana Dive Bomb, my personal favorite. You can shop from anything from t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, stickers, prop hoodies, even a pillow. There's so much more over at areairacing.shop. Make sure you check it out. Some pretty solid merch over there done by Jacob Bell. And, started out as just a one-time thing with Ryan Hartz, but it was, hey, I want this too. And Jake really enjoyed making it and putting it on whatever he could. Really solid stuff, so make sure you go check that out. areairacing.shop. Cameron Hearn giving a little wave there to the inside wall. Jake moving a little low to give Cameron Hearn a little hello as well. So we go in green with about 51 laps to go. David Weishart going to restart on the bottom. Jake Nichols on the outside. And we'll see this pace car make the hard left turn onto pit road once again. Could it be for the final time? Maybe. You never know. We'll see, though. We'll see the green flag fly once more here from Charlotte Motor Speedway. No Sky Early merch. We'll have to make a change to that. We'll have to get some merch there on the website.
I thought we saw some Skyoli. Didn't we have Skyoli stuff on there? I thought we had the Rick Hot Sauce stuff.
Might have been Ryan Swan. I know he's got some merch on there.
Okay. Well, it looks like Ballacino is going to kind of let Jake take care of Mr. Weishart. You see the 91 leading the second through fifth. So back to Heath.
I'm not sure if he wants to do that with how fast Jake Nichols has been all season long. Especially once he gets out in that lead, then he's long gone. Jake Nichols currently 4 car lengths back. Ballacino half a second back from race leader David Weishart. I'm pretty confident in saying that David Weishart's going to lead the most laps, and he just put down the fastest lap. It's like the 5th or 6th time we've seen him put down the fastest lap of the race. 66, so yeah, he's
4 away
four
from
laps
half.
Away.
Yeah, so, and yeah, pretty much sure. Yep, he got it.
Yeah, so it's another bonus point for leading the most laps, and can lock that he'll lead the most laps in this race. But will he lead the last one? That's the lap that matters the most. As we see there a little further back, Rafe Slate and Garrett Heath looking to move around there for the 5th spot. Saw Slate move in the 4th. A little further back here, we got James Kiley and Jacob Bell. They're just outside the top 10, so this is the battle for 11th. Then you got Jordan Martin, Paul Irvin, Cameron Hearn in this as well. And Garrett Grant right behind Brian Wasserman. So really tight battles here. Was that a car sideways in the back? I don't believe so. Not sure why it looked like someone was sideways, but they're keeping it green. Yeah, it was like right back there. I couldn't tell if that was the 64 sideways or if I was just seeing things, but they were all over the place. Oh, and now they're into the wall. Right up here, Jacob Bell back in front of the field. James Scioli, Jordan Martin collected. Well, they weren't sideways behind, but they were sideways in front. Man, so that's the 4th yellow of the race. And we'll take a look at our one-to-go replay and look at what exactly brought this out. Knew they were side-by-side racing.
A little bit up into the wall, the 50 goes, but
happens in front, though. So this is the lap before.
Actually, a couple laps before. So here we go. I think we got this one now.
These guys were running just outside the top 10, so this was the battle for 11th. So it's 11th through 15th you see right here. Not sure if Jake just gets a little too much of that outside wall.
Oh, no,
Another
7.
7 down into the 77, into the 11. What a hard hit for Jacob Bell. Props to Brian Dixon, the 03, for avoiding the sideways 11 of Jordan Martin, but just slight contact right there. From the in-car view of Jacob Bell. Man, what a wild ride. You know, it looked like he might have had that saved if he didn't get that extra tap from Jordan Martin.
Yeah. Well, we got to just halfway with no cautions, and then now they've come rolling.
Yeah, that's our fourth caution of the night. Boy, as the sun goes down, the moon comes out. I'm not sure if it's a full moon, but typically when we see a lot of wrecks here during the night time, it's typically during a full moon. So we could have a full moon sitting over Charlotte Motor Speedway, because this race did start during the day, transitions into the night now. Boy, that's the second caution that we've seen. A little friendly fire there with the 77 and the 11. Jacob Bell and Jordan Martin, both a part of Jacob Bell Racing, getting in that, and David Weishart Racing's James Skyley involved in that as well. I'd be surprised if Jacob Bell is able to return to the race with the hard hits that he had on that 77. He might be done for the night. Wouldn't count him out just yet, though. The only retirees so far have been Forrest Smith, Will Davis, and Nick Johnston. Daniel Miglin still sitting 2 laps down. But boy, a tough night overall for Jacob Bell Racing, because Ryan Hartz unfortunately could not make it tonight. Jordan Martin and Jacob Bell were just involved in that caution, the most recent caution. Then the caution before that, Ryan Swan got collected in it. So not a good second half of tonight's race for Jacob Bell Racing. That's really going to hurt them in the team championship points, because they were right behind Solar Flare Racing heading into tonight's race. Looking through, and currently the team getting the most points from tonight's race at the moment would be David Weishart Racing. David Weishart is leading, and then you got Chris Syme fighting over there in 6th, so they would get the most points so far out of tonight's race. And you gotta look through, and Physicus Motorsports would be up there, P number 2. So they were in the bottom 4 of the team championship standings heading into tonight's race, but a strong run from Alan Balancino and Dom DeLeo having a solid run as well. It might put them second, because now I'm just looking through, and Solar Flare Racing, you got the brothers running 2nd and 9th. Haven't talked too much about Tyler Nichols this season, but he's running inside the top 10, sitting P9. So Solar Flare Racing might be P2, and close behind probably be Infinite Gaming. Garrett Heath running P6, and then you got Jay Perkins over there running P10. So starting to see some solid runs for the teams, not only leading the championship standings, but those that are needing the points badly in the team championship standings. And so we'll be coming to green this time by, presented by CNC Logging. We would like to thank CNC Logging for their support of the CNC Logging Truck Series this season in area. Located in Boiling Springs, South Carolina, CNC Logging is your place to go for any of your logging needs. Got wood, big or small, summer or fall, we'll cut your log guaranteed. And that's the CNC Logging truth. This restart presented by CNC Logging. David Weishart leading the field back to the green flag here at Charlotte. Really solid restart there from Jake Nichols. Oh, Balancino right on the bumper though. Ooh, excuse me, that was Chris Seinfeld that got into the turn 2 wall. Still keeping it straight. Oh, and Nichols had a little bobble there. He's going to be able to keep the 70 Balancino behind him for the moment, but he is all over that bumper of the 91.
And Balancino, like I said, looks like he's just going to let the 91 do the heavy lifting of keeping Weishart in their sights. You know, you can draft a little bit here at Charlotte, conserve your stuff. Maybe looking for a late pass for the Fasicas Motorsports Balancino.
Yeah, Balancino had a solid run last week at Gateway, coming home P6. To improve that to P3 as a little further towards the back. They're still trying to stay out of the wall. Jordan Martin made a little contact with it. Brad Slaughter might have given it a little smooch. Oh, might have a little side-by-side battle between Seinfeld and Dom DeLeo going into turn 1, and it looks like we do. DeLeo on the bottom, Seinfeld on the outside. This is the battle for P6. And that number 22 slowly moving up through the field. Gonna have the 88 of Brad Slaughter right behind him, giving him a little momentum push going into the turn. So DeLeo P6, and now Brad Slaughter trying to take away P7 from Chris Seinfeld. Ooh, and right over here, you got Jordan Martin and Ed Robertson door to door for the 15th spot. A little further up now, Tyler Nichols and Cameron Hearn battling for the top 10 spot. 79 car trying to stay in front of the 67. 67 will prevail and move into the top 10. Kind of surprising we haven't seen Cameron Hearn back inside the top 10 as quickly as he's been doing throughout the season.
Jacob Bell in the garage getting a engine change has popped into the chat saying he kind of like this place.
Yeah, it hasn't been too kind to him, so I can understand why he doesn't like this place. I feel like one driver who does like this place is that number 33, David Weishart, Race Leader. He's obviously clinched most laps led. Might creep into the 100 laps led mark. Currently sitting at 82, just got to lead 18 more laps and they'll eclipse that. Well, now 17. Jane Wolf, DeLeo, and Balancino over there for second, third, and fourth on the most laps led portion of tonight's race. So Weishart currently at a 7-car length advantage over the 91 of Jake Nichols as we move a little further back and find the teammate of Jake Nichols, the number 81 of Dwayne Culberson. Right behind him is Paul Irvin, running around the 15th spot. Balfour 13th in front of him between Culberson and Ed Robertson. A little further back, got some 7-Eleven action going on here. James Skywell and Jordan Martin running 19th and 20th after being involved in some yellows. And 67th, Cameron Hearn up to 7th. Hold on, wait a second. The Skull Bandit still has some speed left. Don't let that damage fool you. He is still working his way through the top 10. Up in front of him, though, Dom DeLeo looking to get around Garrett Heath, and he will complete the pass on him. So move the 22 into the top 5. And now the 23 went from having Dom DeLeo in his mirror to the Skull Bandit. Here comes Cameron Hearn looking to move that number 67 into P6, and he's going to do that with ease. I gotta say, I'm looking through, and Cameron Hearn and Dom DeLeo, two of the fastest cars on the track, running P5 and P6. Closing in on the number 12 of Rafe Slate, soon to be the battle for 4th, or it might be the battle for 5th. Here comes Cameron Hearn. Less than 30 to go here from Charlotte, and these guys are booking it, trying to get to the front as fast as they can. DeLeo looking to peek his nose down low. Nope. He's going to get closer to the bumper. Can't quite make a move. Oh, this is going to get a little interesting. Here comes Cameron Hearn all over the bumper of the 22. He's going to give him a little push down low. Trying to get a nose underneath the 12 of Slate for the 4th spot. Oh, now what does Cameron Hearn do? He's going to give the momentum push on the outside of Rafe Slate. Dom DeLeo still looking low. Oh, I feel like Cameron Hearn might potentially make it 3 wide here. Nope, he's going to stick to the outside. Oh.
That time the 22 got down a little bit too much. It's going to give 12 the momentum off the corner. I'll have to restack and try again.
I'll say right behind that, that just brought in the 23 of Garrett Heath, reeling himself back into the action. So DeLeo going to drop to P6. Cameron Hearn inside the top 5, and now he's going to try and get around the 12 of Rafe Slate. Still 8 car length gap between Weishart and Jake Nichols. Alan Balancino not too far behind as well, 1.2 seconds back from the race leader. Boy, if the 67 or the 22 gonna have a shot to win, they're gonna have to get around this 12 as soon as possible. Because I feel like those two are the fastest cars on the track, and they can get up to the bumper, but they can't find a way around the 12 of Rafe Slate. And gotta give credit to Slate. He's holding his own there in the 4th spot. You see that 67 all over the bumper, and I feel like that might do it. They're going to make contact down the backstretch here once, twice, nearly 3 times. So Cameron Hearn moving into 4th without, a little nudge, a little nudge there from Rafe Slate. I mean, you could tell he was just frustrated. And this happened last week with Nick Johnston. Johnston made contact with Cameron Hearn, moved him up the track, and then Later on, towards the end of the race, he caught back up to Johnston. Johnston kept blocking, and he was tired of it and sent him over in the turn 3 or near the turn 3 wall. Nearly didn't get into the wall, but 2 weeks in a row, Cameron Hearn trying to get a move on in the car in front of him, not letting him go. So he had to use the chrome horn, and now the Skull Bandit is into P4. Dom DeLeo back inside the top 5 after getting around Rafe Slate. Nearly 9 car lengths separate David Weishart and Jake Nichols. Balancino still sitting in third, but it's about a 1.2 second gap between Balancino and Cameron Hearn. And just looking over here, so we're almost 20 laps left from the checkered flag flying here at Charlotte. 45 laps currently on the tires for David Weishart, 46 for Jake Nichols, 45 for Alan Balancino, and Cameron Hearn, 23 laps. There's Jacob Bell to the inside, running the apron, probably going to bring that car back down pit road. So it's no wonder why Cameron Hearn was trying to get around Rafe Slate so eagerly. He has such fresh tires that he wanted to move up to leaderboard quicker, but he had the 12 to deal with and killed a good bit of laps on those tires, and not too long until they even out with the competitors up front. He's starting to run lap times similar to the leaders. Jacob Bell going to come out of pit road and try to continue to log some laps, though. He is currently 10 laps down, sitting in the 25th spot.
13 laps down, 10 laps behind Miglin.
Ah, yeah, I was looking at the wrong column. David Weishart's trying to add to the W column as he continues to lead the gap, now 1 second over Jake Nichols. Balancino 1.6 seconds back, 2.9 back, for now 3 seconds back for Cameron Hearn. Got Dom DeLeo on his bumper now. I'm not too sure if they're going to try and work together or if Dom DeLeo's just, hey, I got to go. I got to go around you. And I feel like that's what just happened. Dom DeLeo's up to 4th, Cameron Hearn, P5. So the 22 getting around the 67 of Cameron Hearn. Garrett Heath once again trying to reel in that Skull Bandit once more. He's trying to get a top 5 run going for that infinite number 23. A little further back here, this is Michael Larch and Dwayne Culberson. They are fighting for the top 10 spot. Still going at it for the top 10 spot. Now we got Paul Irvin, Swervin Irvin, trying to continue a solid streak here in the Cup Series with a top 10. Culberson holding on to that 10th spot. Large trying to do everything he can. Boy, it would be great for Michael Larch to have a great bounce back after the festivities he had at Gateway with a top 10 run here tonight. He is right on the outside of that top 10. Just can't seem to find a way around Culberson.
top 4 completely spread out here. Actually, top 5 way spread out.
Yeah, they are quite spread out. 1 second between Nichols and Weishart, then another second between Valentino and Nichols, and a little over 1 second between Valentino and DeLeo, and then 8 to 9 car lengths separating DeLeo and Cameron Hearn. So top 5 really spread out, but still some tight, close quarters racing in the back part of the top 10, and outside of that, Michael Larson has actually moved inside the top 10. He was able to get around Dwayne Culberson. I was just going to say no Tyler Sifford tonight, but the Solar Flare guys are having solid runs. Jake Nichols running P2, Tyler Nichols running in 9th, and Dwayne Culberson trying to get back inside that top 10 so he could get all Solar Flare racing drivers in the top 10. But Michael Larch isn't done. He wants to pass another Solar Flare car, and next one in front of him is Tyler Nichols. Like I said, we haven't talked too much about Tyler. We've talked a lot about his brother, but that 79 has shown up with some speed, has stayed out of trouble.
Ten laps to go.
Yep, the 33 crossing the stripe, 10 to go. 1 second gap separating Weishart and Jake Nichols. Boy, this would be huge for David Weishart if he could pick up a win here in Charlotte with such a dominating race car. I mean, he's had such a fast car. He won most recent area broadcast from Rockingham in the Lodge Box Series. Said he wasn't going to do too much of Lodge Box racing because he's got other commitments for Thursday night, but he was able to push those aside and race at Rockingham. I mean, I would do the same thing. Forget everything I got going on. I got to race at Rockingham, and Harold, I got to say, that was probably one of the best races of the year.
It was a track that was forgotten in North Carolina. Hopefully the renovations that are being done at that track and North Wilkesboro will yield some big races to start coming back to the North Carolina area. Everyone thinks of Charlotte, but there's a lot of tracks in North Carolina.
Yeah, so the new bill that they had, it's going to go, they're splitting the funds between Charlotte, North Wilkesboro, and Rockingham. Obviously, we know North Wilkesboro is going to get a facelift here after their races this year, and Rockingham, they're looking at repaving that racetrack and adding lights to it, hoping for SRX or for ARCA NASCAR to come back. And Charlotte, obviously, just some facility upgrades because, like we mentioned, the track's been around since 1960, so just little repairs here and there. But we went to Rockingham the last time we were live here on the Area iRacing Twitch channel, and David Weishart was able to run in the Lodge Box Series, and him and Chris were going at it. Chris Seinfeld going at it, and Cameron Hearn was up there as well. It was going to be a 3-car battle for the win, but boy, the bad luck just it keeps happening to Cameron Hearn, but he's been able to rebound nicely tonight after we mentioned early on in the race he made contact with the outside wall. We're running in P6 right now. So Weishart looking for that checkered flag and looking for that first cup win. This is your season 1 defending cup champ.
Here's the issue. 60 laps here. We know they can do 66. Some of those were yellow flags. So see if fuel becomes an issue towards the end. With 5 laps to go.
No, that is true. Fuel could be an issue. Yeah, David Weishart is your season 1 cup champ, and he's looking to defend that title. He is yet to pick up a win this year. Slaughter, Jake Nichols, Eli Green, Ed Robertson, and Ryan Hartz have been the only drivers that have gone on to win a cup race this year. And with 4 laps remaining, David Weishart is looking to add his name to that list. Still 1 second separates Weishart and Jake Nichols. Will Weishart have enough fuel to cross the checkered flag? Will Nichols have enough fuel to cross the checkered flag?
Hey, Ballachino's come way back like he's conserving fuel.
Balancino, Dom DeLeo, Garrett Heath. All those guys are going to be close on fuel. Cameron Hearn, 40 laps on his tires. He's good to go to the end. Then the 3 cars behind him, Tyler Nichols, Michael Arch, Rafe Slate. I think Paul Irvin's good to go.
3 laps to go. Sticks out this time by. 2 to go, giving out to the 33.
The gap has been dwindling a little bit between Weishart and Jake Nichols. Jake trying to close in the gap. It's still 9 car lengths separating him and David Weishart. The 33 car will work his way through turns 3 and 4. And we'll see the white flag in the air one final time around Charlotte, presented by One Go Studios. Boy, an absolutely dominating race by the 33 of David Weishart. We'll see if he can bring that number 33 into victory lane. Weishart works his way through 3 and 4 for the final time. And he'll come off turn 4. No Dale Jr. fiasco here. David Weishart wins at Charlotte. The fuel lasted to the very end. And the 33 car as victory number 1 on the season. Well, a solid run there for David Weishart, and David Weishart Racing. He won the last broadcast that we had over at Rockingham, and now he wins the most recent broadcast we've had over at Charlotte. And as mentioned, he did not have a Dale Jr. fiasco where he ran out of fuel coming out of turn 4 in the last lap. He's still got enough fuel to do some burnouts.
Hey, he's got a little bit of gas in there.
We'll get our podium drivers up here and chat with them in just a moment. I think we'll go ahead and bring them up. Race winner David Weishart, dominating fashion. Hunter and Harold in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Boy, it picking up right where we left off. Last time we were live, we were at Rockingham, and you had a solid car there in the Launchbox Series, and you brought it over, that momentum over to the Cup Series, dominated this race. I mean, led the most laps. I think you led about 118, maybe 120 laps tonight. 115, we're just now seeing it. Take us through what that race was like, because you had a fast car from the beginning.
Yeah, I messed up my qualifying there, and I had a better car in that qualifying, and I got clear of my teammate Garrett there on the outside initially, and then I raced Alan really hard early. I knew clean air was going to be everything. So once I got the clean air, after about 15, 20 laps, like early in a run, you could fight through the arrow with the tire. And then once the right front started to go away, you couldn't fight through it anymore. So I drove really hard to kind of get away, and we were going to two-stop it. And some of them guys ran long, and then I had slow pit stops all night. Like that last pit stop really worried me. I was close to losing control of the race there, and had a flurry of yellows there. I was able to save enough fuel to make sure that I had enough fuel, because it was pretty tight by our numbers there.
Yeah. I was going to say, that was the next thing I was going to ask. How close was it on fuel? Because we saw some guys be able to go 66 laps, and you pushed it at 65 laps, but obviously the help of cautions helped that a little bit, but didn't know for sure if you were good to the end.
Yeah, it's been well documented in this league. Saving fuel's not my not my favorite thing to do. So I was happy to see them yellows. I think we got like 3 or 4 of them there. It sucks. My teammates were involved in a couple of them. I don't know what happened to bring out the first yellow. My teammate was involved there, so have to go back and look at that. And I don't know exactly where they all finished, but hopefully me finishing first here gets us some decent team points, and it feels good to hold off the best of the best there, Jake Nichols. It's not very often you get to do that in this league. It feels good.
Absolutely. Harold, any questions for our race winner?
Well, yeah, back to back from broadcast there, Dave Rockingham, and then bringing this in. We're going to see the David Weishart imagery more often in the victory lane now. Is this your mid-race, your mid-season slump is over, right?
God, I hope. It's been a rough start to the season. I've had some good runs going. Me and my teammate James have, and a couple races we've been set up pretty good, and a caution comes out, kind of ruins our strategy. But overall, there's a stretch in this stretch of the schedule. It's a lot of the tracks I like we had Rockingham last week, Charlotte this week. Circuit of the Americas next week is my favorite road course, and then Nashville, where I won last year in the Cup Series. So we're hitting a good stretch of tracks here for me. So hopefully I can be back here talking to y'all in Victory Lane, but we'll see.
Indeed, and we might see that next week. You never know. But any shout-outs you would like to give out before you go off and celebrate that victory?
Yeah, I just thank Elite Entertainment and Jacob for putting us on, and Butt Kicker, Chris Sports Cars for sponsoring us here at DWR, and everybody that races with us. You know, we all put in a lot of time and effort to get some good finishes, and it paid off tonight. And thank y'all for broadcasts and the admins for what they do, and everybody watching.
All right, well, we'll let you go. Congrats once again on the well-earned victory there, David.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that was race winner David Weishart, and now we will bring up the number 91 of Jake Nichols, bringing in home a solid second place finish there for Solar Flare Racing. Hunter and Harold in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Man, well, as always, you have a fast car, but just it seemed like it was difficult to pass out there. I mean, towards the end of the race, or the last restart, I should say, when all those cautions were happening, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, when's he going to pounce? When's he going to pounce? When's he going to pounce? But it just seemed like couldn't get close enough to it. It seemed like it was really difficult to pass out there. Take us through what the race was like in the car.
Interesting at first. Every time you had to start toward the back, you know you're in for something, and there was a lot of respect throughout the field. Sometimes you'd have to really drive hard to pass someone, which I get it. We're all racing for as good of a position as you can get, no matter what lap. Yeah, it was easier to make runs and get underneath people and hold it early in the race while the track had a little temp in it. It wasn't really that hot ever, but the moment that sun went down, it made everything so much harder. It kind of eliminated the second lane. Mid long run, you could start running second lane and kind of get a run off the corner, shooting to the bottom center off of the exit of the corner, but I was finding out that it just wasn't working there late on Weishart. He was running an incredible pace too for majority of that last run, so it was going to be hard to do anything anyways. But I think Dirty Air definitely hurt us a lot at the end of the race compared to earlier. I just wish if we would have just qualified a couple of cars up from where we did, we probably could have had a really good shot, but it happens. You know, we just made a little mistake in qualifying and thankfully moved our way and got a really good night for our team standings. So you love to see that for the Solar Flare boys. But yeah, it was a tough race to try to pass for sure the whole way through. But as the track got colder and we went later and later in the race, it got 10 times harder for sure.
Yeah, and you mentioned having to start from the back. I mean, we saw the mishap over there in qualifying, and we knew you were going to be starting in the back. And it still kind of surprised me that you were starting that deep in the field, but nonetheless, still had a fast car, got all the way up to P2. Harold, any questions for Jake?
Jake, you know, I was telling Hunter before we started going green here that tracks like this one, he was at Rockingham. The older tracks, they seem to work the guys, the veterans like yourself and Weishart and Ballacino, and look, the top three. Is that something you look forward to in the schedule, looking for the older tracks, or the newer tracks something that you actually do look forward to?
I don't really think I don't think I've thought that way yet. There's certain tracks I have circled on my schedule, like road courses, for example. I can't wait till we go there to Coda and I think Charlotte Roval. I'm so excited to go there because I love road course racing and stock cars for sure, more than anything. But that'll be fun. But overall, like I don't really. I think I more look at weather, like tonight, for example, we started evening sunset time and went to the night. I more look for like the 1 p.m. start time races, so we got a little track heat. So it kind of helps maneuverability on the racetrack and helps passing, and I think it more helps long run, which I really excel at. I try to excel at least is long run pace. So those kind of races, it's important to be good long run. But for example, tonight, early in the race, you could have a mixture of both. You could either push hard or you could just wait for a while. But as the race went later, it just became you got to go now or that's your opportunity gone. Like that's more of what I look for rather than old track versus newer. But there's definitely some probably tricks like Gateway, for example, I was really looking forward to, and that's more obviously newer to the Cup Series schedule, at least in real life. So something like that is kind of fresh on everyone's mind, and we don't really know what to expect. Tonight it's just a long race, but not that long. So you just kind of keep your head and on your shoulders at least, and just survive, and then you got a shot at something.
Yep. Nonetheless, still solid P2 over here at Charlotte. Any shout outs you would like to give out before you go?
Yeah, everyone at Solar Flare Racing. I wish Dwayne, he was running pretty good there. I think around top 10 range late. I don't know what happened. He could have just fell back. I don't know. But he made a good comeback, though. He sped in pits, had a little mistake, and went down 2 laps. Still got top 15. So good run for him. Obviously, Tyler Nichols over there in P6. That's a huge night for us in the team standings, getting 2 in the top 6 there. So that's really cool. Hopefully we get some help from our 4th car here soon again. But either way, great race to everyone on the track there. Mostly clean race, so you like to see that. David and Alan and everybody for hard battles up front, and everyone throughout, and obviously everyone at area and everyone involved that puts these races on and supports the series and the league in general. And thanks to you guys again for broadcasting. It's going to be fun watching the back to the front challenge again. I've done that, I think, 3 times this season so far. So hopefully I can stop doing that so I can actually just do my thing up front.
Yeah, yeah. Who knows? It could happen next week at Coda. Big fan of the road courses, and we'll be looking forward to that. And we'll be looking forward to the Charlotte Roval as well. Race 2 in the playoffs, which we'll be seeing you battle for a championship. Congrats on the 2nd place finish.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
All right, that was Jake Nichols over there sitting P2, and now we'll bring up P3 here, Alan Balancino. He got P6 last week at Gateway and improved that by 3 spots up to P3. Hunter and Harold in the booth. Got a copy?
Hey, how you doing?
You see, Alan, I picked you to win, man. I'm on the Eat Sleep Race team. So Fazekas, I want you guys to win. So it was the older style racetrack Charlotte one of those things that you were looking forward to this season?
Not particularly with the way this car drives. Honestly, I ran the Coke 600 and got some track time here, and it looked like it paid off. But it's not my favorite track at the moment.
Not a favorite track, but still a track that you somehow seem to be doing well at for not liking the track. P3, solid finish there, and as mentioned, P6 at Gateway. If you had one more lap there at Gateway, would have been a top 5, but you improved on that tonight. How did the car handle? Because it seemed like it was difficult to pass out there, but you obviously had a fast enough race car in order to stay out in front.
Plow is in traffic. I was trying to set Jake up there, and man, that was not in the cards. If the caution didn't come out, it would have been a different story there. But it's just in air, the right front goes away, and I tried to dial the brake bias back a little bit to help it out, and it just wasn't turning. Just, the cards you're dealt the next gen car sometimes.
Indeed. And Harold, I know you already asked a question for Alan, but do you have any other questions before we wrap it up and let him thank his sponsors?
Oh, I just say, you guys at Fazekas Motorsports, continue to impress us. I know, Alan, you've been around for a while, but your other teammate, seeing Dom DeLeo come top 4 for both you guys, great night. And Dom DeLeo, it's hard to look at the fact that Dom just started iRacing. Yeah,
absolutely. Dude, I was impressed with his run tonight. Wow, he started 17th and he got P4. Dude, that's impressive. And it's hard enough to pass here and everything, get through the field. That's a good run.
Alrighty, well, solid P3 there. Any shout outs you would like to give out before you go?
Sure. Magyar Bank, Fazekas Motorsports, Eat Sleep Race, NIA DeLeo Graham, that's it on Tranquility Esports and Martin Sports.
Alrighty, well, congrats once again on the 3rd place finish, and who knows, you improved from last week at Gateway. Maybe we can see you improve from COTA. How do you feel about road courses going into next week's race?
I've been practicing at Sonoma, but there's a new damage model update with this car, so we'll see hopefully that makes it more like a GT3 car like you'll see in real life, and I might have a pretty good shot. But COTA is not my favorite road course.
All right. Well, if anything continues, Charlotte's not one of my favorites. P3, COTA, not one of my favorites. Could be P2, could be P1. We'll be on the lookout next week. Congrats once again on the podium finish.
Thank you.
All right, and that was your top 3 that we just got a word with, and now we'll take a look at the rest of our finishing results here. But real quick, I'll
go with what you're going at. You call for one, we'll just go with you. All right, so we'll go ahead with the Elite Entertainment Cup Series Charlotte 210 final results.
Yep, so we just talked to our race winner, David Weishart, absolutely dominating race win there. Jake Nichols, Alan Balancino, 2nd and 3rd, just talked to those guys. Dom DeLeo and Garrett Heath, solid top 5 there. I think Fazekas Motorsports got the most points tonight. Drivers finishing P3 and P4. Solid. Then we got Tyler Nichols, P6, solid finish for him. Cameron Hearn, a good rebound there, P7. Michael Larch, a really nice run after last week at Gateway, coming home P8. And then Ed Robertson, P9, and Rafe Slate still strong top 10.
Yeah, Paul Irvin, Brad Slaughter, Chris Seidenfaden, Dwayne Culberson, and Garrett Grant. We're running 11th through 15th. The 16th is Brian Wasserman. James Scioli, 17th. Jay Perkins, 18th. Jordan Martin, 19th. And Brian Dixon brings home in the 20th spot.
Yeah, Scioli was my pick. Did not have a strong night, or the night that he wanted, but at least I picked the right team.
As I say, you got the right team. I knew it wasn't the driver that you were expecting, but hey, sometimes a squirrel, you get lucky, right?
Absolutely. Mark Patterson, Ryan Swan, James Shanewolf, Daniel Miglin, and Jacob Bell rounding out the top 25. And then Nick Johnston, Will Davis, and Forrest Smith were the only cars that could not finish the race. And now we'll take a look at our Elwood Designs race recap. 115 of the 140 laps were led by the 33 car, David Weishart. Had 4 yellows for 16 laps, and they all happened in a tight window right after halfway. David Weishart, he had the fastest lap like 6 or 7 times throughout the race. A 30.068 was the fastest lap set by the 33. And Harold, any final thoughts from Charlotte before we wrap it up and head on out?
Well, like I said, it's an old track, so see a lot of action here. We'll be here tomorrow night with the trucks, and then Thursday night we'll bring it up the Xfinity cars, and then we're turning left and turning right next week. Yeah,
that'll be something new to us. We haven't been to COTA yet and haven't been to a road course in a while, so that'll be next week. But as you mentioned, tomorrow night, the CNC Logging Truck Series will be taking on Charlotte, and Thursday night, the Lodge Box Series will be at Charlotte as well. And then As mentioned, all 3 series will be going to Circuit of the Americas, or better known as COTA, for week number 10. And that'll do it here from everyone up in the booth to make this possible. Executive producer Harold Darner. I'm Hunter Sleppy saying so long, and we'll see you later.
What an exciting race brought to you by Wendigo Studios. Here they come out of turn 4 to the white flag, and it's 1 to go. Thank you to all our sponsors, drivers, and viewers. We'll see you at the next turn.